Good afternoon, everyone. This is Henry, and in tonight's video analysis, I wanted to start off by thanking those of you that were participating in last week's video. I told you guys that I was interested in what y'all were trading and the names that you were picking up, as that gives me an idea, of what the broad market may be thinking about, and of course what you are interested in, those of you that are actually watching these videos. So thank you again for your participation. And inside that, I saw several of you that had mentioned JP Morgan. So I'm going to kick things off here and show you a very simple chart that was one of the first things that I ever learned, and that is the squeeze inside a 21-day moving average. So the squeeze is the idea of a compression and then expansion of range. So when the squeeze is showing us primarily these red dots are what I like to look for, though they do show up in a few different versions. But when you're seeing that compression in price, do you see how JP Morgan was so sideways for so long? Well, it can't trade sideways forever, right? It's kind of agreed upon that it's a $290 stock. It was finding resistance at 300, but it's not going to be 290 forever. It's either going to turn into a $270 stock, or it's going to turn into a $310 stock. And the idea is that momentum kicks in when this squeeze starts to fire. I like to look for the direction that squeeze will fire in two ways. One of which is the angle of attack of the 21 EMA. So you see that dotted moving average. It's moving basically from lower left to upper right, and that helps lead to the idea that it will end up being bullish. The other way that I like to use it is to think that consolidation will resolve in the direction of trend. So I think we could all agree that the movement from 202 up into 290 was bullish action. So you're taking that bullish approach, consolidating, holding the 21 EMA, and a really great resolution of that name today. And then also showing you thinking backwards. So coming from JP Morgan and then going into the sector, right? Because XLF is one of the best performing sectors out there. In the chat room, we have been involved in the XLF December calls from the squeeze back here towards the end of June, right? So there have been some ebbs and flows, but as we have those December options for today's move, they look quite good, right? So again, thinking about the sector, thinking about the name that you're picking inside that sector, I think that'll help you find some really good picks. Now, branching off into a few of my other favorite picks, not so much of a sector focus, because there will be these that come off kind of as an offshoot, is something that is a little bit of a smaller cap company. And tonight I would like to bring to your attention A-Lab, right? So A-Lab, and as I try to do in most of these YouTube videos, is to begin with the foundation of the squeeze, because that's the first technical indicator that I ever learned with real success. And we traded this one back in the chat room all through here. And you see that same idea, that we get a little bit of a nice up move here. We recover the 21 EMA, and then we go into, a month and a half of just perfectly sideways trade. But that consolidation cannot last forever. Eventually, that consolidation is either going to turn it into a $70, or in this case, a $190 stock. And you can see that the squeeze was quite bullish. So after that move, and mind you, the big part, or I'd say maybe half of that directional move occurred prior to earnings, right? The biggest part of the gap was on the number, but notice how we get the up move off the squeeze here, the gap on the earnings themselves, and now consolidation of those earnings that hold the 21 EMA and a fresh daily squeeze. So timing is always the art of this. I feel like I can tell you with some confidence that A-Lab is a $210 stock. It's a matter of when and in what pattern is where you can make the best use of fast money. If you would consider yourself to be slow money, which is to say I can put the cash to work and leave it for 6 to 8 months, maybe a full year, well then yes, I think you'll get these targets quite easily. If you're looking for the resolution tomorrow, I honestly have no idea, right? Tomorrow is non-farm payroll, and today we closed at 187. Tomorrow, if the shares are at 172, I will think they're on sale. If we start to move back here and shift this ATR, maybe get closer to filling the gap, well then my timing is a little bit more off. But long story short, that's one of my favorite picks. We've got a nice squeeze. I wanted to make sure that was on your watch list. After that, we have Affirm. And that'll round out kind of, I like to bring you things in threes, because good things happen in threes. And Affirm has a little bit of momentum here. This is a name that I also think is destined for the centennial value at 100, and then ideally 115 above that. So we can see a very clean swing high against a swing low. Here we have the low compression squeeze, which may take a little bit more time to build out. But you either correct through price, which is say price drops and comes into the moving average, or you correct through time, which is more of trading sideways, and then as time passes, then the moving average catches up to that price, and then the squeeze ignites it into higher levels. So I think those are very much worth having on your watch list, even though JPM had a bit of a rally today. I don't think it's done. I think the other two are in very similar situations. So while I don't know what tomorrow brings, I think these are names worth on having for your buy-side watch list. I'll be looking for my spot in the sessions ahead. So thank you for your time and attention. If you guys would like to join us with this analysis in the chat room, we would love to have you. Otherwise, have a great Friday, awesome weekend. We'll pick this up again on Monday. Hey traders, this is Henry with SimplerTrading.com. I wanted to thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful. And if so, be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons down below. If you would like to also see me putting these ideas into action and trading my own account live in front of you, be sure to sign up at SimplerTrading.com, and I hope to see you in the chat room sometime soon.